Well, I just installed a kit in my master cylinder for the M37. That's one of the things I like about this, that it's kind of infinitely rebuildable. All the parts you can buy replacement parts to rebuild them rather than replace the part. Like this master cylinder, I could have bought a new one for between 80 and 100. Probably because they probably use the same master cylinder on a lot of old Dodge vehicles. And this is a 54. Back when they had it's not the dual system, it's a single. Like I said, I could have bought a new one for 80 to 100, but for 20 some dollars, I had the kit, which replaces all the guts inside. The only thing you got to make sure you have a hole to hold the cylinder out. And on this one, the brakes were still working, but what was happening, I was losing fluid. This wiper ring here was leaking it back, and it was coming out the bellows here. But with the kit, then I get the new bellows and everything. But normally if the brakes go bad, you've got to look at this cup. And this one actually looks pretty good, so it'll go in my spares again. But it used to be you could buy, every garage, every gas station had a big cabinet full of the different cups. Like this is 1.25 inches. My pickup used, I think, 1.16 inches. Every vehicle had a different size depending on their brake system. For the wheel cylinders and for the master cylinder. But now you can't even buy these. You go into like a Napa, they don't carry these, they carry the master cylinders. They don't even carry the kits. You have to buy the whole master cylinder. Now, I didn't want to do that because, well, I prefer to keep the original parts on it. There's no reason not to. But also, the thing about these M37s, they're made for streams. So rather than vent through the cap like almost everything else does, this actually vents through the air intake. There's steel lines running from everything, like from the differential, from the distributor, from the generator. Everything is vented through the air intake. So if you have your snorkel on your air intake, you can go like 6 feet of water. But I was afraid if I bought a replacement, I wasn't going to get that. And like I said, I'd sooner have the original parts on there. Now, a replacement might have fit, but it wouldn't be the right one. It's the same with the fuel pumps. Like if you buy a replacement fuel pump, the odds are you're going to get one of the newer crimped together ones that don't have the sediment bowl. See, my old one, I can take it completely apart. I can replace the diaphragm. I can replace the little valves and retain my sediment bowl, which I like to have. But like I say, the advantage of these, everything is vented. The one exception, the gas tank is vented through the air intake, but it also, this is the gas cap and the built-in funnel. It also has a shut-off here. It's got a regular vent on the outside of the cap. Just makes sense so vapors don't go into the air intake. If it's sitting in warm weather. So normally you run it in this open position. But if you're going to be going more than about 3 feet of water, well then you just flip it to this and it's closed here and it vents only through the air intake. It's well designed. Well, even this funnel thing is well designed. Because then it's got a bronze screen in it, and then also in the tank, at the bottom of this funnel is another screen. But you can pour into this right out of a jerry can. You don't need another nozzle or anything. But like I say, I was losing fluid on the back side here. It was coming out of the bellows, so I know it was this wiper. But with the kit, then I got a new, that residual pressure valve, that whole setup. The only thing I could see wrong was this little rubber bumper that actually sits up here in front of this. That had a kind of an odd warp to it. But not that I could see that it would do anything. It doesn't seal anything. It just cushions it, you know, so not a big deal. But I replaced that. I had a new one. But this stuff will all go in my spares. But it beats buying a new one. This stuff it's interesting to work on. It's kind of a joy to work on this old stuff. You know, like the master cylinder was easy to get at place. You know, the only thing I don't have one laying here, but you know, when you start working with these fittings like this on brake lines, you really need to have them flare nut wrenches, you know, so that they don't strip out, because otherwise it's very easy to strip those fittings, to round them off or crush them or snap them off. So you really need the flare nuts wrenches, and I've got a set of both metric and standard on them. But now it should be ready to go. Stick it back together, and you know, like I say, I had brakes before, but I know I was losing fluid through there. So now in summer is the time to work on it. But that's where I keep spares. You know, even for the pickup, I carry a bunch of these. I've got a bunch of extra wheel cylinder spares. You know, it's easy to fix. You just have to have the parts available.